Kevin Kisner amazed by what Nelly Korda did on the back nine at the US Women's Open. I was shocked. Kevin Kisner has explained what shocked him about watching Nelly Korda as the world number one went on to win the US Women's Open at Riviera this past week. Korda is now a four-time major champion after winning the US Women's Open for the first time in her career on Sunday. The victory also means that the 27-year-old's hopes of completing the calendar Grand Slam are still alive. It was the smallest margin of victory from Korda's four major wins, but that would not come as a surprise to anyone who watched the twists and turns on Sunday in the Pacific Palisades. Kevin Kisner lauds Nelly Korda's performance at the US Women's Open. Gabby Lopez and Charlie Hull were waiting around to see if they would end up in a playoff. Meanwhile, Se-Young Kim went down the 72nd hole with a chance to join them on 7 under par. However, Korda edged in front with a birdie on the 17th. And, while she needed all of the hole and the decisive putt, the American managed to make the par she required on the last to get across the line. She was not at her best, with Korda even changing her grip during the tournament. But speaking on the Foreplay podcast, Kevin Kisner insisted that he was amazed by how many times she stepped up and produced the shot that was called for. I didn't get to watch her play early in the week, but I followed along through social media, saw the stuff where she said she had her B game and struggling, grip change, which is not easy, probably the hardest thing to do. One of the last things I would ever tell a person to do in a tournament. But it's Nelly Korda. It's like telling Tiger, hey, if you move your left hand over one more knuckle, you're probably going to stripe it. He would do it in the middle of a tournament. Obviously it worked because she started hitting it well, he said. But I was shocked because I tuned in on 14T last night, the par 3, and all I've been seeing is how she's struggling with her ball striking all week. Grip change, blah, blah, blah. She hits a seed right at the flag on 14. It came up short in the bunker, and she's got the sickest short game ever. I've watched that in person before, and hits that to 2 feet, and then literally does not miss a shot coming down the stretch. She stripes it off 15. Nobody was hitting that fairway. Hits a 5-iron into the wind, straight at the flag, 20 feet, like you do in US Opens. Then goes to the sucker pit on 16 in the front, hits it the closest I saw of anybody in the last 6 groups. That putt should have gone in. That ball defied gravity. It breaks so hard right there at the end. I've hit that putt. And then hits 2 perfect shots on 17. To the side of the green, you have to have the entire green to get up and down. And then walks to 18 with the lead and hits a beautiful tee ball and an iron shot into the middle of the green 20 feet. And then we all know what comes when you have to 2-putt. The whole horrors of the golf game happen. You could put her there with 1,000 golf balls and tell her she had to make it and she would never leave it 3 feet short. But now that we have to 2-putt, suddenly we leave it 3 feet short with the weight of the entire US Women's Open on the line. It's just a fascinating thing that, the person that we think of when we think of women's golf. And all I've read all week is she's struggling. And I watched her hit, 7 consecutive stripes? I mean, that shot on 16, I know it's 131 yards, but it's like hitting it down a bowling alley into that green. And if you miss the green, it's impossible to get up and down. And she just hits this beautiful 8-iron right at the flag, and then stands up there and rips it on 17 when she knows this is her only birdie opportunity. So hats off to her. I was just so impressed. The best players in the world show up in the biggest situations, and she did it. How Nelly Korda has recently performed at the final 3 majors of the year. The question will now be just how many majors Korda is going to end her season with. Korda has been back to challenge for the calendar Grand Slam after her victory at Riviera, but it is an understatement to say that winning the final 3 majors of the year is not going to be easy.